If you've been training for months or 11 years, but you still don't look or feel the way you want to, this video is for you. Because today I'm going to tell you exactly why you're not seeing the results, even after all that effort in the gym. And before we dive in, if you're serious about breaking through this and finally seeing the progress you've been working for, click in the link in the description and book a free call with me today. Inside my coaching program, I'll build you a custom plan, fix your training, and help you make every session count. Now let's get into it. The first reason you're not seeing results: you're training hard but not smart. Most people think the solution to slow progress is just to train harder. They add more weight, more reps, more sets, but they don't realize training harder doesn't always mean training better. You can't just rely upon effort. You have to rely upon execution. If your form is off, your recovery is poor, or nutrition is inconsistent, all that extra effort is wasted. You can't outwork bad habits. I see all the time people show up in the gym 5 or 6 days a week, but they still look the same for months because they're repeating the same mistakes over and over again. You need to stop focusing on what you're doing and start focusing on how you're doing it. Every rep should have intention. Every set should have purpose. If you're going through the motions, you're not training, you're exercising, and there's a big difference. Training moves you towards a goal. Exercising just burns calories. The second reason you're not seeing results, you're not eating enough. I know it sounds simple, but this is the thing that stops more people than you think. You can't build muscle or strength if your body doesn't have the resources to recover. If you're always tired, constantly sore, and never improving, chances are you're under eating. Your muscles don't grow in the gym. They grow in recovery. That recovery needs fuel. You might be thinking you're eating a lot, but when you actually track it, you realize that you're not even close. Progress requires consistency, and that includes nutrition. If you're skipping meals, guessing portions, or eating clean, but too little, your body doesn't have what it needs to grow. You wouldn't expect a car to run with half a tank of fuel, so don't expect your body to perform with half the nutrition it needs. Track your food, prioritize protein, eat enough to grow. You're not being lazy, you're just underfed. The third reason you're not seeing results: you're too focused on what's changing on the outside. You look in the mirror every day waiting to see a difference. But the truth is, progress doesn't always show visually first. You might be getting stronger, improving your endurance, or refining your form, but because you can't see it, you assume it's not working. That's the wrong mindset. The best transformations happen slowly. Real strength, real change takes time. It's not about what you see after 4 weeks. It's about what you become after 6, 12, and 2 years. If you only measure your progress by what you see in the mirror, you'll never make it long enough to see the full transformation. That's why most people quit too soon, because they confuse no visible change with no progress. You're doing better than you think. You just need patience. The fourth reason is your sleep is holding you back. This is one of the most underrated parts of progress. You can train perfectly, you can eat perfectly well, and still see no results if you're not sleeping enough. Sleep is when your body rebuilds. It's when your muscles, your hormones, your balance, and your strength actually grows. If you're sleeping 5 hours a night and expecting your body to transform like an athlete, you're setting yourself up to fail. You can't pour from an empty cup. You're not weak, you're just exhausted. Fix your sleep and your performance will skyrocket. It's that simple. The fifth reason is you're not seeing results, you're not progressing. But are you actually improving? Progressive overload isn't optional, it's essential. But if you're still using the same weight, same reps, and same effort for months, you're maintaining, not progressing. Your body has no reason to adapt. It only changes when it is challenged. So if you're doing the same thing for too long, your body is already used to it. You have to give a new reason to grow. That could mean adding more weight. It could mean slowing down your tempo. It could mean improving your range of motion or adding an extra set. Progressing isn't just lifting heavier, it's lifting better, and that's something most people forget. And here's a big one: you're not tracking anything. You can't improve what you don't measure. If you're not logging your workouts, your food, or your sleep, you're just guessing, and guessing never works long term. You might feel like you're working hard, but without the data, you'll never know what you're actually tracking, what's actually working. So track your lifts, track your food, track your sleep, then review it every few weeks to see where you can improve. And that's what separates progress from frustration. The people who succeed in fitness don't hope it's working. They know it's working because they have proof. Now let's talk about the mental side. The seventh reason you're not seeing results: you're doing the work, but deep down you don't believe it's paying off, and that mindset kills progress. because your actions follow your belief. If you believe you're stuck, you'll act like it. If you believe your body just doesn't train, you'll train half-heartedly. You'll start making excuses, you'll start cutting corners. But if you truly believe in what you're doing, you'll find a way. Your body can only go where your mind allows it to. And if your mindset is weak, your progress will be too. That's why I always say fitness starts in your head before it shows in your body. If you fix your mindset, everything else will become easier. The next reason, you're copying others instead of learning yourself. You'll see somebody else's workout online, you'll try it, and then you'll see another and switch again, and another and another, and the cycle keeps going on. You keep changing routines without mastering any of them. That's why you'll never progress, because you're constantly resetting your progress. What works for one person might not work for you. Your body is unique. Your recovery, your sleep, your stress, your diet, all of it's different. That's why copying random influences doesn't work. You need to build around you, and that fits your lifestyle, your goals, and your experience level. That's what I help my clients do inside my coaching program. We stop guessing and start growing. If you want that level of clarity, click in the link in the description and book a free call today. Another reason you're not seeing results, you're skipping the basics. Everybody wants to do the fancy work, fancy stuff, cable machines, drop sets, advanced techniques, but what they ignore are the basic foundations, which is good form, full range of motion, proper recovery, consistent nutrition. These are the boring things, but they're the things that actually work. The basics are what builds the great physiques. If you can master the fundamentals and do them better than everyone else, you'll make more progress than 90% of the gym. Don't chase complexity, chase consistency. Now let's talk about stress. Your body doesn't know the difference between physical stress and emotional stress. So if you are constantly overwhelmed, anxious, or overworked, your body won't recover properly. Cortisol, your stress hormone, goes up, and that blocks muscle growth and fat loss. You might be training perfectly, but if your stress is out of control, your progress will stall. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your body is rest and not another workout. Recovery isn't lazy, it's part of the process. You can't train your best if you're constantly running on empty. The next reason you're not seeing result, you're too inconsistent. You train for a few weeks, then skip a few. You eat well for a few days, and then go off track for a week. And then you wonder why nothing's changing. Progress requires momentum, and momentum comes from consistency. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. But even small progress done consistently compounds over time. If you're only 50% committed, you'll only get 50% of the results, and that's how this game works. The body rewards what you repeat. So perform on consistency, not perfection. Now here's one most people never think about. You're training for the wrong reasons. If your only motivation is how to look, you'll burn out quickly, because progress takes time. And when it doesn't come fast enough, you lose motivation. But if you train because you love it, because it'll make you stronger, more confident, and more disciplined, you'll never quit. The reason has to be bigger than the mirror, because looks fade, but strength lasts, discipline, confidence lasts. That's the real reward. Another reason you're not seeing results, you're not being patient enough. Most people underestimate how long it takes to see real change. They want 3 months of results from 10 bad years of habits, but that's not how it works. The gym doesn't care how fast you want it. It only rewards consistency. So if you've been training for 6 months and you haven't seen a massive change, that's okay, because at this stage you're only laying the foundation. Progress isn't linear, it's exponential. It feels slow until it suddenly isn't. The results always go up after you thought they never would. You just have to stay in the game long enough to see them. The final reason you're not seeing results, you've forgotten why you started. When you first began, you had a reason. Maybe it's to feel better, maybe it's to feel stronger, maybe it's to change your life. But over time, that reason gets buried under frustration, comparison, and doubt. You start to chase perfection instead of progress, and that's when people quit. But you can't lose sight of your why. That's what keeps you going when motivation dies. That's what makes you show up when you don't feel like it. Your reason is your foundation. Without it, nothing lasts. So if you've been training for months and still feel stuck, stop for a second, revisit your why, refocus your effort, and restart your intention. Because here's the truth: if you've been putting in effort and not seeing results, you're not broken. You're just missing structure. You're not doing the wrong thing. You're just doing the right things in the wrong. And when you fix that, everything changes. If you want help identifying exactly what's holding you back and building a system that actually gets you results, click in the link in the description and book a free call with me today. Inside my coaching program, I'll help you train smarter, recover properly, and finally see the progress you deserve, because you're closer than you think. You just need the right plan to get there. The gym rewards patience, structure, and consistency. If you can commit to that, the results will come. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they will. And when they do, you'll realize it was worth every single rep.